There was something circulating on Reddit last night from Ezra Klein, who put out a PowerPoint presentation, effectively, that had been forwarded to him from some kind of deep secret Democrat spy thing that looks at all of these different polls and tries to actually measure who would fare the best. So what did they find? Well, everyone fares better than Joe. Everyone, okay? Pete Buttigieg, oddly, fared really well. Remember little Pete? Of course, he has his problems, right? He's the transportation secretary, and we got planes falling out of the sky. So you got Kamala on the border, you got Pete on the skies. These people do not exactly have the best track record. So you want to know who performed the very best? Who's doing better than anyone, like way ahead of everyone, and actually would give Donald Trump a real run for his money? It's someone I've mentioned before. Michelle Obama. Think about what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about it ages ago, about the possibility of Michelle Obama coming forward. You say, well, what kind of experience does she have? Really? I mean, none, except her hubby has been president before for 8 years and is actually brilliant at politics. All right? You got to give him that. We may not have liked his policies. We may not have liked him. But the guy knew how to get stuff done. And what does he want now more than anything? To save his legacy. And Joe Biden isn't going to be able to get to the finish line. Joe Biden has screwed up royally, and through no fault of his own, really, other than he won't give away the car keys. Through no fault of his own, he is now in a fragile enough position that the Democrats have decided he can't be the one. So they're going to have to figure this out. I suspect it's going to hit us, boom, like a ton of bricks. Because don't forget, if he's going to stay in the gig for now, you got to put on a little bit of a front, right? I mean, you're dealing with Russia and China. Hey, if I'm China, I'm Taiwan, watch out, right? Like, this is that moment in time when you're like, oh my gosh, there's no one really, really in charge. Except there is behind the scenes. And the behind the scenes people are trying to edge him aside. They'll put Kamala in for 2 minutes and 2 minutes only. They'll look at all the negative press that she's getting, and then they'll say, okay, we need someone else. But again, you're taking it away from a black woman. So who better than to put forward in this moment in time than another black woman? And maybe Gavin Newsom as vice president for good measure. I would not be surprised to see this happen. Again, these are people that want to win. And I'm just thinking about how you would win in that scenario. You're not going to win with Kamala. You're not going to win with Joe. You might win with Michelle and Newsom. And I know you guys hate them, and I believe me, we don't want to look like California. You want to talk California? We might as well just pack up and go home because we're all going to be Venezuela overnight. Those are not policies that work. But they're policies that gel with the Obamas. We don't like them. They would, in my estimation, be extremely dangerous for our economy, for our social fabric, and the United States of America as we know it. But you know what? There's not going to be enough time for America to vet her. She's been behind the scenes. They talk about don't peaking too early. They are putting Kamala Harris out there for a reason. Why would you pick Kamala if you're Tim Ryan? Unless you're getting your orders from someone, somewhere. Why would you suddenly overnight just start piling on Biden if you're Jake Tapper? Unless someone's in your ear. And so I suspect there are a lot of moving parts in this moment in time, and people are being quite deliberate about who they want in and who they want gone. Gavin Newsom was asked about it the other night. Hear his answer.
It's a non sequitur. I don't even understand the context of that. This is the President of the United States running for re-election. He's our guy. And that's part of the diversion tactic of the right, to continue to sort of muddy the waters on all that and that nonsensical speculation. It's just like the absurdity of who's going to get an injection shot. I mean, this is farcical. It's serious stuff. Democracy, freedom, liberty, rights. And to see it trivialized as we're trivializing it, even having these conversations, is really distressing to me as an American citizen, not just as a Democrat.
Governor,
Okay, he's saying the right stuff. He's got to say that. And he's got to keep the darts off of him to a certain extent, just like Michelle Obama has to. Because Kamala Harris, watch out. They're putting you out there right now. You're never going to be able to deliver. You've never been able to really deliver. I mean, remember how badly she performed in New Hampshire? I was actually kind of surprised at that. Really surprised at that. I didn't think it would be that bad, but she was actually that bad. I mean, really and truly that bad. I'm looking at some of your comments that are coming in, and I thank you. You guys are you're really great. Reminder to make sure that you subscribe. If you haven't already, subscribe to the show. Give a thumbs up, share it, make a comment down below. I actually do read those. I read all of them amazingly. So your comments will be seen. And I thank you for the nice stuff as well. I don't take all the credit. I actually like to give some to one of our wonderful sponsors here on the show, Balance of Nature, balanceofnature.com. You can go to balanceofnature.com and you can get 50% off right now. I can't believe this. This is actually an amazing, amazing deal. I was reading it on the air the other day, and I was assuming, okay, I'm going to say 35% off because that's typically what we have, 35% off. Well, now they just upped it to 50% off. So I was definitely shocked and really happy to see that because these vitamins are fantastic. I take them every single day. These are vitamins called fruits and veggies. And the fruits and veggies are really, really awesome. You can get your fruits and veggies too. Just use discount code TRISH, T-R-I-S-H, my name. You can call 1-800-246-870-51, forgive me, 51. There you go. 1-800-246-870-51, or just go online to balanceofnature.com. You can go online and type in my name for the code word and check this out. I mean, it's really, it's good stuff. I don't steer you wrong. And in terms of not steering you wrong, I really do think that we all have to be prepared here. And I think that most of us here on the channel, I'm going to go with like all of us here on the channel probably prefer to have a conservative there in the White House with conservative economic policies that will serve our country well, that will serve our kids and our grandkids well. We want a secure future. And part of that security comes from a good foundation and having a capitalist sort of central base to what you're doing as opposed to the socialist nonsense that will get you California, which everybody's leaving, or we'll get you Venezuela, or, the former USSR while we're at it. In other words, it's been tried many times before. It has never worked. And so we don't want that. It is really critical that we not have that. But it's important that you're armed with all the facts. And I'm looking at this situation right now. I don't think there's any way. I've said all along, I don't know how they run them. I just don't know how they run them. I mean, they can sit there and say you're all wrong, and then he does a debate, and we're like, oh, no, we're not wrong. We're right. And those aren't cheap fakes. He's just actually not capable anymore. And so now that the cat's been let out of the bag, so to speak, they've got to move, and they've got to move quickly because you've got that convention approaching in August. And I don't know if he actually were to get the nomination there at the convention, all bets are off. Like at that point, you're going to have a real problem. If he doesn't want to leave, and by the way, even now, if he doesn't want to leave, you guys are going to have a real problem because you might be just doing exactly what the right is accusing you of doing. Trying to operate everything on a whole other level, right? Behind the scenes, so that you squash your enemies, you squash your political rivals, you take them out. If you take Joe Biden out, people are going to say you are guilty of doing exactly what you shouldn't be doing, and we have a constitution to protect against it. I mean, unless you're going to go ahead and use the 25th Amendment. They got themselves a big old problem, You never should have relied on Joe. Never, ever, 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 ever.